Dan, big Podmore.
Yeah.
Big fan of yours, and
Thank you.
great to chat to you, mate.
Yeah, it's glad to have your time.
Yeah, and some big news at the moment.
Yeah, we've got a big fight, fighting June the 27th in Cardiff against Jerome Hatch.
Yes.
So that's the only fight that that I've told the BKB I wanted. I want that to be the fast-tracked fight to get me back to where I want to be, and that's back in the ring with Marco. So.
You excited?
Absolutely, yes. Everything's going well. I'm getting over a few injuries now, and everything's back, becoming, as it should be.
I feel like from being around the scene, you're often underestimated and
Always.
Yeah. Your accomplishments, second to none.
It's everybody likes to second guess and underestimate me. Until I think it's Ryan Barrett's coach, Dave. He said, fuck about, find out. You know what I mean? Find out. You know what I mean? So it's so that's basically what it's. You people want the fight until they actually get in there, and then when they're in there, then it's a whole different ball game. I'm a nightmare for anyone.
And you're double weight world champion, you've been, yeah?
I am. I've been two weight world champion. That was when obviously in the older BKB. I won 3 world titles there. Sorry, because I won the cruiserweight world title twice, and then I've been the Police Gazette Diamond Belt champion at the Bridgeweight as well in the new BKB. So that's 4 world titles to my name, and if I didn't say it, nobody would know it. So it's a bit of a sad one, but it's keeps me flying under the radar. And it's if these guys think I'm flying under the radar, they're not hesitant then to fight me. So when they fight me, then I can show them what I'm all about.
And the Hatch fight, describe Hatch as a fighter. What's your?
Don't get me wrong, he's tough. He's a come forward sort of like brawler sort of type fighter. You know what I mean? His boxing skills is not, it's not really particularly technical, but he's a tough old guy. He's been in some Fight of the Year candidates as well, with Cody East.
He's a fan favourite as well.
He's one of the fan favourites, yeah. So
you cannot not like him when you watch
him.
Exactly.
And he's also got a knockout win over Marco. So you've got to respect him just for that alone. So.
Yeah, and the Dan Lowell.
And the Dan Lowell, he knocked him out as well. And that's what you get if you get to stand in front of Jerome, which is something that we won't be doing.
And you've got one of the toughest chins in the business as well, yeah.
100%. I've been battle tested. Don't get me wrong. I've had a fair few hard fights. But like I said, if you just take a look at the Emil fight, you know what I mean. It's the Markic fight. We took a lot of punishment, both of us there. So both come out looking.
Yeah, that was a war.
Out of this world.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, it was a good one. Like I said, but yeah, my chin as well. It's well held up. Still does to this day. Even when we spar, I can walk through shots and eat shots. Not that you're supposed to, but it's you get a bit of comfortability when you spar and with gloves and stuff. You can feel like you can go through it sort of thing. But that'll all stop, later on into the camp. When we're in. When we get in a move on, and it'll be strictly head movement and in and out.
And back where your story started, you grew up as a kid in Birmingham, did you?
Yeah, I grew up in Bartley Green in Birmingham, yes, which is used to be a nice area. I still think it's a good area sort of thing, but it's it's like the rest of Britain right now. It's on the decline.
Yeah, it's seen better days.
It's had better days. Yeah, let's put it like that. Yeah.
So on quite a working class family.
Yeah.
What did your dad do?
It's quite working class family. Yeah. Personally, I don't know my own father.
Okay.
He was in the military. I was actually born in Germany. My father served over there for the British Army. My mum went over there and lived with there, and obviously, didn't work out, whatever, and I ended up coming back with my mother when I was 6 months old. So,
Yeah, gosh.
so yeah, so I'm actually, to me, my mother is my father as well. So
Yeah,
my mum,
yeah,
So,
amazing woman.
yeah.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I've got an older brother and I've got a younger sister.
Yeah.
We sort of have, you know, we all like to do our own separate thing. You know what I mean? So we're all a bit. We're not estranged, but it's.
Yeah, you're different people.
Yeah, we're different
Yeah,
people.
that's
Different people.
same.
Yeah. So we was all close growing up, but obviously
Yeah.
when everyone got our own, you know, lives and stuff, we all separated a little bit. I speak to my sister a bit more than I do my brother. You know what I mean? Everything's all fine and dandy sort of things still, but it's we're all lead our separate lives now.
Yeah. And was it a tough area as a kid growing up?
Yeah, it's when you know, I used to, where I would grow up, I used to try and hang around with all the older lads. You know what I mean? Because there was only one or two kids that was my own age.
Yeah.
So I got quite bullied a lot. You know what I mean? All the older lads would try to, you know, be a bit more dominant and stuff like that, and they'd always try to pick on me and stuff like that. So.
Were you quite small, or?
Yeah, I was a very small child, very small child. I was till I was about 15, and then all of a sudden I had like a bit of a growth spurt.
So your confidence at that age, Joe, must have been tricky, or?
I've never not been not a confident child. You know, I mean, being a child, I was just a kid. You know what I mean? So. Confidence is nothing I've never really suffered with, really, apart from later on in life. And I'll tell you about that a bit later on.
Did you get into like scraps?
Yeah,
With bullying? And
it
stuff
was
then?
daily scraps. Daily, we'd have a scrap most days. You know what I mean? All the older lots would like get us younger lots to all together and roll things up, and then we'd all fighting each other and stuff like that. And yeah, until then. I used to win a lot of the fights back then. You know what I mean? But then all the older lot used to, obviously, they try and get their new little bit of a joke out of me, and it turned into like them basically bullying me sort of thing. So, but then all of a sudden, I thought, enough's enough, and the one day I had enough, I turned it round and. I handed them a can of whoop ass. Yeah. So yeah, it was. And then after that, then it was. Don't get me wrong, they didn't stop, but it was more less.
Yeah, they knew there was a line.
Yeah, they knew that if they crossed the line, then it was.
It's tough, isn't it, as a kid? Sometimes you have to draw a line. It's.
Yeah, so and that's basically, yeah. But like I said, I wouldn't have changed it for the world. You know what I mean? It's made me who I am. It's made me tough. You know what I mean? Growing up where I did, it's led me to be the person that I am. So. Did
that lead you into going to gyms, the sort of glove boxing?
Yeah, it was. I used to float in and out of the gyms when I was young. I never really took anything serious. So it wasn't really something that I'd wanted to do. It was just getting the aggression out more than anything else. You know what I mean? I'd go and punch a bag, but then I'd get told off for, going a bit too much on the bag sort of thing. And they'd say, "Oh, look, this isn't, look a docile. If you want to learn how to box, you need to box properly and stuff like that." So yeah, so I had a few telling offs when I was young. But then it's like we was getting older. We're still having scraps. You know what I mean? It was just a routine thing. Like you'd go around having fights all the time.
Yeah.
So I basically taught myself how to fight. You know what I mean? So
you were bare knuckle fighting from
young.
Before it was a sport.
Yeah. You see, it's like around the area that we grew up in. That was, that's you had to know how to fight. You know what I mean? So otherwise, you would have become a little bit of a victim, sort of thing. You know what I mean? So. And like I said, if I didn't stand up for myself, when I did, you know what I mean, could have been a bit of a problem.
Yeah, and then from school.
Yeah, schools. I had.
Were you working any jobs or?
Yeah, I left school. I've become like a bit of a labourer at first. I was working down in London, being a hottie for a brickie. Yeah, then I I ended up getting into a bit of a trouble with the law.
What sort of
It's
trouble?
like fighting, just
Yeah.
basically fighting. Yeah, so I ended up having to do a bit of holiday time at Her Majesty's Pleasure and stuff.
It's been tough. Then.
Yeah, it was, and it wasn't. It's, you know, don't get me wrong. It's prisons for mugs. You know, it's not a nice place to be. But when you go there, you have to sort of like assert yourself as well. You know what I mean? You have to. Otherwise, you become a victim in there. And like going to like a juvenile prison, it's not the best sort of place because everyone's full of testosterone.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's out to get a name for themselves. You know what I mean? It's hard to assert dominance straight away in the prison. Someone was trying to make me sing songs out the window, so I said to find out who it was. I was like, right, he's in pad that down there. I'm gonna go see him in the morning. When I seen him, and I stuck it on him. I was like, what is it? And then that was it. It was
It's a tricky cycle.
yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Like I said,
like-
it's even though it's what you know, you want to go down and keep your head down and stuff like that, but you have to. That's the way you have to be in there.
Yeah.
It's like a
Just to
totally
survive.
different place. Yeah, basically, yeah.
So that kept a slight cycle within
Yeah, it was. That was like
fighting to
yeah.
survive, but then you have to fight more and just
Yeah.
you know.
And obviously, you know, this had happened, you know, every now and again. You know, I'd have to, you know, I'd go out drinking and you know, someone would start trouble, and then I'd finish it, and then I'd get in trouble again. You know what I mean? So it come to the point where I thought, you know what, I've got to knock it on the head a bit.
Did you feel you were sort of? It's a reflection of the surroundings you're in because you're in that environment, or was it within your nature as well?
Yeah,
like
well,
some
it was-
sort
well,
of control of anger,
Yeah,
aggression?
but basically, yeah, it was. It come to the point in my life. I thought, you know what? If I've got this little name about, with you know, this reputation, I said I'm going to try to do something with it, sort of thing. So I thought, I want to be like, you know, I aspire to be like someone like Lenny Emery and stuff, Lenny McLean. Sorry.
Yeah.
When I was old, so I want to be like an hard man. And you know, that was veering me down like the wrong sort of path in life. You know what I mean? So I wasn't a very nice person. I started to become an angry person.
Yeah.
And then my life got turned upside down, like quite quickly. You know, I was doing all like the prison stuff, but you know, I was out on my bike one time, and I had a really serious motorcycle crash where I broke my back in 3 places. I cracked my sternum and I destroyed my shoulder, so I've had to have my shoulder joint reconstructed.
How old are you?
I was 20.
20. So
Yeah, so, and then all my nerves were damaged. My arm was dead for 2 years, so I could lift it like I could just move it slightly. So, and they told me that I weren't never going to walk again. So I thought, you know, and I'm always like the type of guy with the type of attitude, you know, you're going to tell me I'm going to do something. I can't do something. I'm going to go and do it. So the one time I was in bed, and I thought, yeah, I just need to get up and walk. So I got out of bed. I started to walk after being laid down for so long. And then it was you'll never be able to go to the gym again. You'll never be able to box again. So even when my arm wasn't working, I was picking my arm up for the gym equipment, and I was putting it on the gym equipment, and I was just like using the gym equipment then to work my arm. And then all of a sudden, then it's starting to regain life. My nerves was slowly repairing.
Yes, that self-motivation.
Yeah, yeah. So you told me I weren't going to do something, so I've went and done it. So, and then that's when I started. I sort of like fighting sort of thing again. It was like that. It's like.
So you back to the streets or?
No, it was like when I thought there was a gym in Birmingham. It was called the UTC, the Ultimate Training Centre, and this was when MMA was just coming up.
Yeah.
And it's where Leon Edwards used to train, the ex-middleweight world champion, the UFC. Yeah, so we used to go there, and I used to train MMA, and I used to go there 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. I used to leave, and then I used to leave at 9, 10 o'clock when it shut. So I was doing back-to-back classes. So I've become quite good, quite fast.
Did you see it as a potential career at that stage?
Yeah. So I was hoping to set up fights and stuff, and you know that's what I wanted to do. You know, before this I was into the bodybuilding, and you know what I mean. I was wanting to get big and this. So I was doing a lot of strongman stuff, and so I put on quite a bit of muscle, which in hindsight sort of like saved my life, because obviously all the muscle that was around my body at the time actually was like a cushion when I crashed. But yeah, so I started MMA. But then whilst I was training MMA, I was training for my first fight, and I tore my bicep from the top down on this arm. So I had to pull out of that fight, and I had to go have surgery. But then when I had it repaired, I had it rehabbed and stuff like that, and then I started to turn more to the boxing, because it was more like relatively available sort of thing. So I didn't have to travel as far. So you know, from Bartlett Green to Erdington, it's probably about 18 miles. Yeah, so I started to box. Don't get me wrong, go back to the old gym every now and again, but yeah, I started to box.
Successfully?
Yeah, well, I was training. I was going to doing a few little white collars, and you know, I got a bit of a record then. After that, so I was having about 30 fights. I was probably at about 29 wins with one dodgy loss, one like robbery or something like that from fighting away. And
so your self-esteem.
Yeah, so everything was because other than that, when I had the crash, you know, I become a bit of a recluse. You know, I didn't want to come out the house. My body had, you know, my muscle had wasted all down on one arm. This side was still quite big, so one side was big, and one side was small and skinny. You know what I mean? So I didn't really leave the house. You know what I mean? I turned to like alcohol and drugs and stuff like that, and you know. Then the once I thought, you know what, I need to get out of this again. I need to get out of the habit of doing all this sort of stuff. So then I got back into the boxing. Yeah. So then I was boxing again. Like I said, I was on a roll. You know, I was winning week in, week out, sort of thing. Well, I used to fight every couple of months, and then the phone stopped sort of ringing because nobody wanted to fight. You know, it was. Because I was quite good when I was young. It was nobody wanted to fight. So one of my pals, he was a journeyman on the circuit. He asked me how much did I really get paid per fight. I said, yeah, I'll probably take home like $1,000 or something like every couple of months selling tickets and stuff. He goes, well, he could get me that weekly if I was willing to take a few losses.
Yeah,
so
setting someone up.
Yeah. So what we used to do, there's like a Facebook page called Semi-Pro and Boxers, and I used to put myself out on there saying, look, I was willing to do the rounds or doing walk rounds. That's what we used to call it. And
so you make it feel a good fight.
Yeah. So then obviously because everybody had a good name on the circuit, people would phone me up saying, Dan, I've got this guy. He's 10-0. Got a total shot for you, but whatever you do, just don't knock him out. I said, yeah, no, sounds. Obviously, you've got to make it worth my while, sort of thing. So, yeah, I was taking a few losses, and then, you know, the phone would go non-stop. I'd get 2 fights on a Friday, 2 fights on a Saturday,
How many fights?
And then once on a Sunday. Yeah, so I was fighting 5 times a week. You know what I mean? And I wasn't even training at the time as well. So
it's almost like you're training.
Exactly. So I was training on the job. Yeah. So
and
I'd keep myself relatively fit, 5-round fit, 5-2s fit, and and then I'd go up around the country, week on, week out, around the country every week without fail.
How many years was that for?
I did that for about 2 years.
Yeah.
And I went from 30 fights to near 300.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's that was a combination of MMA, amateur MMA, pro MMA, pro kickboxing. White collar.
So experience like ring craft.
Yeah. So
you'd like.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
the fighters you come up against.
And
experience.
That's what I'm saying. And other than learning all the MMA, you know, no one had really showed me how to box. Nobody's really showed me how to fight at this point. So basically, self-taught, learning on the job. You know what I mean? So and even still, I was quite popular on the circuit. You know, so I'd become a bit of a showman, you know what I mean? So if I was fighting 3 rounds, the guy would say, well, don't knock him out, please, just don't knock him out. He's got loads of people here, ticket seller, blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, all right, no worries. So I'd let him have 2 rounds, and I'd take the shots, and I'd be like, and then after the 2 rounds, I'd be like, right, last round. I said, it's my turn. So I'd go in, and I'd like, boom, 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 boom. I'd punch him up to the point where I could stop him.
Yeah.
And then I'd let the bell go, ding, I'd say, oh, almost had you there, didn't I?
Just a little signal.
Yeah.
That I could
So,
have taken you.
which basically would tell them, saying, listen,
Yeah.
I could have had you. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and then...
And then were you clear of prison then? Or did you keep on getting dragged back?
No, I was clear of prison for a while. There was 1 or 2 instances where, I'd be at the pub or something, someone else would get into trouble, I'd stop the fight, and then something could happen, but I'd have to react, and then you know what I mean? And then I'd be pulled back in then, sort of thing. So it's because I've looked my record, sort of thing. They look at you and think, yeah, you're the troublemaker, but really, I was the one that was trying to.
Yeah, and if you're in that environment as well,
so I was trying to de-escalate the situation. You know what I mean? So there's been a fair few times where that's been the case, and I've still had to pay the price.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then how did you get introduced to bare knuckle professionally then?
On the basis that I was going to come in last minute. I got phoned up. We need a fighter in Liverpool, I believe it was, in the Echo Arena. Can you come fight? I was like, yep, no problem, bare knuckle. Might as well have a go.
Yeah.
So I ended up fighting Mickey Parker. Soon found out that because when I was doing a bit of the gloves, I'd be a bit of a showman on the ropes and this, that, and the other. Realised that you can't do that in bare knuckle with your hands up and actually come straight through the middle and pop my nose in the second. Which I thought I was winning the fight up until that point. Ended up after taking a knee because I couldn't see. It was last 10 seconds of the second round. Last 10 seconds of the second round, and I ended up taking a knee. But then in the third round, I come back out and I still stuck it all over him. So if I didn't have took the knee, I would have won the fight.
Okay.
So, and by the time I wasn't in no shape at all. When you see me talking to Tom Ross and stuff like that, you're saying, your body's drastically changed, and I used to just jump off the sofa and have a fight. But I had a big belly, I was a bit more muscular and stuff. But yes, but that just caught me there. I thought, this is what I want to do, and then I has to come back again. Ended up fighting another guy called Paul Taylor. He was a pro MMA guy. He was saying to me about I was a white collar guy and I don't deserve to be in the ring for him, and he's going to dispatch me quite quickly. And this, I said, okay, all right, whatever. Got in there, and it was a different story. He hit me with some good shots. I was just like, come on then, you know what I mean? Is that all you got? Yeah. I pinged him with an uppercut, and then I started to flurry as he was going down, and hit one whilst he was on the floor, and then he used that to get out the fight because he knew that he wasn't going to win. But now, being the MMA guy, you'd think they'd know how to take shots on the floor, sort of thing. You know what I mean? So so he robbed me of a win. And then I got phoned up again. The next one was Josh Burns. I'd just come back from Turkey, having a piss up with the lads. I thought I had no training. I was, spent a lot of money over there, and Jim Freeman phoned me up. He was like, do you want to come save the show? This fight? I was like, who is it? And then it was obviously Josh Burns. He was world title contender, and I was like, oh God. I said, well, I might have to just come down and turn into be the journeyman. And then Jim was like, well, I'll give you extra money if you last the round, and I'll give you a lot more money if you win the fight. So I thought, that's the extra incentive.
Yeah, it's the opposite then.
Yeah, so but then the first round he dropped me. I was like, oh, get up. But then as the fight was going, I thought, you know what, you're not really that, you're not that much, you know what I mean? So I turned it up, and I ended up
Yeah, so you can sense that.
Yeah,
Actually,
I thought, you know, what, I can have this fight. You know what I mean? And then I ended up stopping him in the. I think it was in the third. I ended up stopping him. Yeah. So that then sort of like changed my whole big BKB
catapulted
career.
you
Then
into-
yeah. So that then, I got chosen to go into like a prize fighter, on the basis of that win. But then obviously COVID struck. They had the lockdown shows, and then I thought they offered me then did I wanted a British title shot, heavyweight shot. So I was like, yeah. I did that, won that, stopped the guy Rob Cunningham in 4th round, TKO. Yeah. So then I thought, you know what? After the Josh Burns fight, I thought, you know, if I start putting a bit of training in, start putting a bit of whole heart and soul
suddenly
into
you're a
it.
professional.
Yeah, so I
bare-knuckle
didn't
fighter.
really want to live the lifestyle way back when. It's like I take the fights, take the money, go live my life, go on holiday. But I thought, you know what, if I start putting a bit of heart and soul into it, I wonder where I can get to. And then like I said, I won the British title. I defended the British title. I went and won a world title. Then I won 2 world titles.
Yeah, and you
You know what I mean? So then we went to Thailand. You know, it was we had a good run up until that point.
How dangerous can bare knuckle boxing be? Because
Bare knuckles, it's always dangerous, isn't it? Because you know it's the aesthetic sort of like aspect. You know, you can get a load of cuts and breaks and scars and stuff like that. But apparently it's safer than pro boxing. Obviously, if you're going to take damage and consistent damage for 12 rounds with a glove, you don't know what's going on internally. Now with a bare knuckle, you get hit once and it's game over. So I think it's probably a bit more safe in that sort of aspect. So.
And why does it suit your fight style so well?
The way I used to fight, you know, I used to just, you know, get stuck in, bite down my gums, you'll get stuck in. But then obviously, I joined Fitness Factory with Simon, and he got me moving. And then I become one of the best moving heavyweights that that's ever to grace the ring sort of thing. And no, these bigger guys couldn't handle the way I was
Because you're
moving.
very technical, aren't you? When you box, you're not just a big hitter. You're
That's
very.
what I mean. I like to get hit. I like to hit and not get hit, sort of thing. Even though I can take a shot, it's not very nice with a bare knuckle sort of thing. But yeah, it's.
And we filmed the Emil fight with you,
Yep.
Markic, and that was pretty epic.
Yeah, that was
You know?
had for that fight I had a really good camp. You know, everything just fell into place at the most perfect time. You know what I mean? So when I come out of it, it was like I was ready to go. I did that at another gym.
It looked in the fight, you were like easing ahead.
Yeah.
And
But
then
then
it became
when-
absolute war.
yeah, I'd say 2 or 3 rounds in, I was like, I'm going to stop this guy. You know, so I think I started to look for that then.
And
But
he's
then-
world class, isn't he?
Yeah, he's an
like
ex-WBC European champion. He's a very high caliber boxer. For me to outbox him just shows how far my boxing skills have come along. You know what I mean? So, but in that fight, I say 2 or 3 rounds. I thought I was winning the fight, and I thought I was going to stop him. But then, it just shows how professional he was. He started to make his way back into the fight. But luckily enough, I've done enough to still come out with a victory.
And it's almost like you could hardly see by the end of it.
Rounds 5 and 6, I couldn't see at all. My eyes were like that closed. I was basically fighting shadows. So even though I was moving around, I was,
Did you think your corner were going to stop it at any stage, or?
Nah,
Because it's almost like you've got the heart not to stop
yeah,
it.
see,
You top guys.
obviously when I go into the ring, I say, listen, I like to tell who's in my corner, don't stop the fight unless I'm getting absolutely hammered.
Carried out.
Yeah, so I like to go out on my shield. You know what I mean? I'm that sort of guy. I've got big pride. You know what I mean? So for them to stop a fight, stuff like this, it's got to be well justifiable, sort of thing.
It's amazing heart though to win that fight.
Yeah. So, but I know, like I said, I don't think I was in any sort of trouble, sort of thing. Even though I took quite a bit of damage to the eyes and stuff, but it wasn't like really like a devastating like power that was hitting me. It was more the rubs and stuff like that. It was just making my eyes swell. I wasn't, there wasn't any significant damages done by the punches. I think it was just a bit of the wear and tear sort of thing. But
and the swelling on your hands after the fight.
Yeah, so in the second round, I thought my hands were broken because they'd swelled up twice the size. But it was just because I was hitting the guy hard, his head so hard sort of thing. So he was a tough old opponent. Got all respect to Emil.
I'll go out there and I'll protect what's mine, and that what is mine is that Bridgeweight World title, and nobody's taking that from me. So this is how we do. I don't care about looking like this to protect what's mine. Anybody that wants it, bring it on, because I'm fucking here waiting.
Yeah, that was a great fight, that was. Yeah.
Throw a bare knuckle punch then without breaking your hands.
Yeah.
The sort of technique.
I've had 15 bare knuckles now, and I've never once broke my hands. So it's
What is your technique?
See, my hands are quite small anyway.
Yeah.
For a man, they're quite. But I say that they're small and accurate and precise. You know what I'm saying? So it's just hitting them right. Turning them over, hitting them with the first two knuckles rather than hitting them with these, because obviously they call it a boxer's break. If you ever break your hands and you fracture these bones in your hands, they call it a boxer's break, because that's where people try to hit like that. But really, you need to be hitting with the two front knuckles, and that's where the damage comes from.
Squeezing slightly at the end.
Yeah. So it's you turning your jabs over and stuff. Even when you're hooking, you're supposed to be hooking, coming over, and hitting with those two knuckles. So that's what does the damage.
What's your power punch? So what's
my
your
best punch is left hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's leading on mine. Anything with the left hook. Yeah. So I'm people struggle a lot from fighting me because I can fight on the front foot or on the back foot. But if I'm fighting on the back foot, you know what I mean. So I'm still quite dangerous. You know what I mean. So
yeah, you're world champion still. You never duck any fights, do you?
No. Like I said, being 4-time world champion in 3 different weight classes, I had nothing else to prove in the sport. I didn't have to prove anything. But I'd also then look for who was the hardest fight I could possibly have. Marco was super cruiserweight champion. He was on about coming up. So I says, okay, I want to fight you then.
How would you describe him as a fighter, Marco?
He's the best in the sport, without a shadow of a doubt. He's number one pound for pound in the sport. Me being me, I wanted to test my skills against his. I put it out there that I wanted to fight for Marco. Yeah.
What makes him so elite? Is it the speed?
His boxing skills, technical skills, his punch volume. His speed. He's quite a complete boxer. So yeah.
He knows his abilities as well, doesn't he? The confidence.
Yeah.
Where he can relax.
Absolutely.
He knows he's got that package.
Yeah, and I think he's come on. He's getting better and better. So yeah, I thought I wanted to test my skills against him.
So you're in Leeds.
Yeah.
Big venue. Backstage, how are you feeling at the time?
To be honest, I wasn't that confident going into the fight. Preparation wasn't there for the fight. Had a bit of messing around in camp and stuff, which wasn't on my own doing. So I probably had about 3 or 4 weeks to prepare properly. As I was a bit all over the shop with where I was training. I took my partner out to Tenerife, and we went and did a lot of training out there. That was more like a rush to get ready.
Must have been an anxious feeling then, because you've got a huge fight.
Yeah, it's the biggest fight of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought, I could have depended on a few people, but it's a lonely sport.
Yeah, so
I mean?
backstage
you can only depend on yourself.
So you're backstage. That must feel quite lonely then when you.
Yeah, well, like I said, I got some good work in the time that I did, and then one of my good friends, Coach Pepper, he come in and done my corner, which was amazing. Me and my partner, Jay, we used to go down to London and go down to his gym, and we go do a bit of work down there for him down in Guildford. And it was just like we clicked. Doing the work, a bit of work with him down there. It was very smooth work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's so experienced.
Yeah, Pepsi's amazing. I wish we could have had just a tad more bit of preparation for that fight.
Time to settle, right? Don't let him find that rhythm, don't let him get comfortable.
Presents 6 rounds for the Bridgerweight Championship of the World. He is the Emperor of Bare Knuckle, Marvelous Marco Martinez. He is the reigning, defending BKB Bridgerweight Champion of the World from Birmingham, England.
Let's fucking go. Ooh.
Could you talk through that first round?
For the first round, he come out southpaw, and I'm not, that doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? Because I know how to work my skills against the southpaw. So he's come at me and he's come up with a big left straight away, and I've slipped it straight right down the pipe, dropped him, didn't let him do a backwards roll to the other side of the ring.
It was amazing.
Oh, yeah! Yes! Yes! Compose, compose, compose!
So I thought, right, yeah, I've got you. This is where I stamp my authority on you. Now this is where I win.
Yeah! Don't punch with him! Don't punch with him! Tie him up! Okay. Good!
Don't get me wrong, they were powerful. They was really quite powerful, but I think it was just like I said, I was overwhelmed with the volume of punches, how many punches was coming at me at the time.
Get your feet on the up! Get your feet on the up! Hold, hold, hold! Yeah!
And that's the only reason why. The first shot they hit me with, when I went down the first time, that was a lights off sort of thing.
It's on the jaw.
I think that was on the temple.
Chin down! Chin down! Chin down! Take your time, take your time.
So I got back up, and no one else is getting back up off that shot.
Yeah.
So I've got back up, but then at that point, then I thought, yeah, my legs aren't there. You know what I mean? I tried to.
I was next to Pepper at
And
the
I
time.
still tried to, throw some shots, but it's.
Pepper was shouting, "Hold him!
Yeah.
Hold him!"
Yeah.
Just to try and get you in close.
Hold him, hold him, hold him! Hold him! Hold him! Hold! 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 You right? Stand up, stand up. You right? Okay, yeah. You right?
Fucking prick.
Oh, you listen. We live to fight another day. Don't worry. Come on.
Absolute prick.
Idea.
Fuck.
The fight next after Hatch, obviously all if it goes well as to plan, that I want to be in there with Marco. For my self-validation, I need to be at my best to have him at his best to see where the chips fall. Then you know what I mean. And I still believe I can beat that guy. Me being at my best, I still believe I can beat him.
And new BKB Bridgerweight Champion of the World, Marvelous Marco Martinez.
Hatches in between.
And Hatch, he's currently standing in the way, and he's a tough old guy as well, Hatch. But he's going to soon find out what a hungry Daniel Podmore is going to be like again on the 27th of June in Cardiff. So.
Very excited. Did you see Marco's finger in that fight?
Yeah, I think
Hanging off?
his bone come out his little finger as well. So yeah.
You guys are like.
Which is, I think I've got a hard head. So there's a lot of things I could have done different in that fight, and given the chance next time, we will do better, 100%. Like I said, it's lit a fire underneath me again to get back to that position, and that's where I need to be. I need to be at the pinnacle, at the top, holding that belt, and I have no doubt in my mind that that's what I will be doing again in the future.
How do you feel looking back at yourself as a kid to what you've achieved? You've been world champion. You're in the throes of pushing for another title
This
shot.
was I've always said,
Your journey is,
I've always said, it's little old me, Dan Podmore from Bartley Green, from Birmingham. And I've been 4-time world champion of the world. You know what I mean? So, You know, I think it's gone down a bit now, but I think I'm like currently ranked number 7 in the UK, probably in the top 50 in the world, but that's gonna drastically change again soon as well. So.
And the other thing that gets a lot of attention is you and Dorian Dutch.
Yeah,
is it a feud, or is it just like
it's not
two
really a feud. He's just not took it very well that I've had to pull out the fight.
Because you're both really respected.
Yeah,
it's just.
I think he spit his dummy out because, you know, I didn't want to pull out the first fight. You know what I mean? It was Simon actually pulled me out of the fight because I'd got a grade 1 strain in my lat. I tried to throw a punch and he kept on pulling my arm back. My body wouldn't let me throw a jab. So he said, well, you can't fight like that. But then on the night of the fight, I felt like I could have fought. You know what I mean? So, but we'd already pulled out the fight. But then it just so happened that Dorian then got beat by the journeyman. And then I went and destroyed the journeyman.
You're on different paths now, then?
I just signed to fight him on a hybrid show. Rob, I said, but I always said from the get-go, I said, look, if the BKB come calling, that's going to take precedence. Yeah. Now, I thought I was going to be on the Manchester card, so I could have done both. I thought, you know, fight on the 16th of May and then fight in June. But they didn't want to get me on the Manchester card and they've got me on the June card instead, so I had to pull out now again, which hasn't done me any favours with Dorian as well, because he's spat his dummy out again. But like I said, the BKB pay me more than what the hybrid show was going to pay me, so that's always going to be
and
my
you want to
bread and butter,
to the world title
and
as well.
yeah, exactly. So my fastest way back to that world title is that's the route I'm going to take. So yeah, it's I think I don't mind fighting Dorian. That's what I said. Look, if you want to set it back for August or October for this year, I said I'm happy to do that. But then Dorian says, "Oh, I don't want to wait around for you to, set up a fight and you possibly not fight again." I said, "Well, if we set it up again now, then we'll have to just stick to it, won't we?" So, if I fight in June, I don't mind fighting then again in August. I think it might be they've got a London show in the O2 maybe. For the hybrid show. I don't mind fighting that and then fight again maybe October for BKB.
Yeah,
so.
Well, I'm super excited with you.
Yeah.
Big news, big fight coming up. You deserve those big names.
Of course, like I said, it's, I've definitely earned and paved my way, you know what I mean? So I deserve the big fights.
Yeah. Dan,
thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure, honestly. Such a big fan of yours.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
Can't wait to see you back in there.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant.